Okay, I just wanted to show you a short video, do a short video showing you how I'm putting the legs together for the bunk beds or twin beds. And you can see here I've got another one of those. I've got the mattresses. The glue's still a little wet on these. You can see it kind of glistening there a little bit, but it's setting. I've made 2 mattresses here. And these are the little leg pieces. The only thing I did a little bit differently, and I think I'm kind of mapping out how I want to do this for the actual printed piece, is just give you leg options. Just the easiest way to do it is just, you know, here you can make it into bunk beds. Here are the legs for the bunk beds. Here are the legs for twin beds. And you can see I've cut out these little portions here. And the way that I do that, because these are glued down and ready to use, these are not. And originally they were closed like this. And I had originally in the file I had put gray lines, but the gray lines just disappeared. So I had to do some measuring. And basically all that I do is I squash them flat. And you can see where's my, well, there it is. You can see where that little line is right there. If I can get that to show, you can see where that line is. And then I just take these little specialty nippers that are only used on paper, and I just cut through both sides. And what I realized was, instead of trying to cut these like so they're flush, it looked horrible. And I know you're not going to be able to see these, but I kind of like that this adds a little more stiffening for the leg. And then what I do, sorry, I gotta open up my glue here. Oh, wow, doing this without being able to see it. I put a little glue and a little glue. Okay, so you can see about how much glue I put in there. I almost always use a bamboo skewer or something like that to kind of smooth out the glue. I don't like, oh yeah, there's my bad habit there of just wiping it right on my hand. And then all I do is fold these in. Now they don't stick down immediately. You can see that's kind of popping up a little bit. So what I do is I put them down, move those out of the way. I put them down and I just take I could do this with my folder too, my bone folder. And I basically just, you can kind of see the little circular marks it makes there in the glue, or in the one side. I just press them in so they're nice and flat. Okay? That's a nice way to do it, especially if you don't want to do, if someone were making this and they didn't want to do all the foo-foo, the wrapping and stuff like that. And then you can see they just pop right on. This is what makes the mattress an integral part of how the bed goes together. Now, what then I have a problem with is, you know, I've got these hollow things here. So what I'm doing, again, trying to do this, let me tip this down so I can kind of see myself a little bit better. I add some glue to the inside here, and you can kind of see what that looks like. I move it all around and get it off. It's just really a horrible habit of mine to do that. And then I have 16 of these. Now you can see there are no lines on that one, no folding lines. You can kind of see the folding lines on that one. I just took one of these and then just traced it and cut it out 8 more times. So 16 total. I just fold in the little sides like that, and then I just push it right in. And it fits nice and tight. So then I can take a pen and go around these edges, and I'll do this again. I'll stick this one with the lines on it on the bottom. Put my glue away. Let's smear that around a there. I'm a little generous with the glue because I really do want it to stick. So you can see the little piece. I just fold it into the tiniest, and I make sure all the little edges are in before I push anything down. And there, that's completed. Now what these will do, and why I like adding the extra glue in, is now it can't be squished in. It's now a rectangular prism. And I don't bother much. I don't get upset about these because I know I'm going to be wrapping something around it. So now I just set these aside and let them dry. Then I can come back with the pen and go over them, and they'll be ready to go. And I can then glue them on. And when I do glue them on, I put a bunch of glue here in the corner, bunch of glue, smear it around, and poke the corner of this thing in. So that is what I'm doing right now. I just kind of wanted to let you see what that looked like. So, you know, I make sure that I've got all these little pieces pre-folded and ready to go, so I don't have to like sit and, you know, try to find a little folded one. You know, it's not incredibly incredibly exciting by any stretch of the imagination, but here, I'm just putting these back under some weights. But it's how I do the work. Now, I would love to do this in circular, and I have some plans to kind of figure out how I do that. Making this something that is more geometric, and I can just squish it and cut it, and not a circular cylindrical object, knowing that with a cylindrical object you can't just pinch it closed. Like with this, you can just pinch it closed, and there's going to be, you know, nothing, you know, it just boinks back into being a little rectangular prism. With a circle, it's a bit different. So if I were going to be cutting into it, I need to have some very specific markings, and I can see what they would look like, but I'm not sure how I translate that into a pattern quite yet. Not quite yet. Oh, and I did find, I was digging around looking for some other things, and I did find the other, for some reason I did not do a blue version of this piece. Not sure why. But like I said, I know I'm going to be doing some additional pieces, printing some additional pieces. So yeah, anywho, that's how I make the little legs. So now you know. Thanks, patrons, and I'll see you in the next video.